All right, everybody. How we doing today? This is Bobby Gaines, of course, owner of Bobby Productions, pretty much all of Bobby Productions since 2006, technically 2011, depending on when you ask YouTube. It's been a little while. It's been a while since I have actually done a live stream on YouTube, as you guys know. Net Gains is something that I started back in April of 2020, so a little bit after the Christmas frenzy of 19 and during my streaming days on Twitch. Now on Twitch I got this whole big long-winded intro every time I stream and all this other stuff. Yeah, I hear you, birdos. I got all this stuff, and then for Net Gains I kind of just pop on screen and here I am. So yeah, there's not a whole lot to these, at least not currently. I also do the Christmas fireside chats every year and other little things throughout the year. But I thought this would be a good checkpoint to stream. As I mentioned, I wanted to make these a little less regular because before this, Net Gains was like an every month thing, and I felt like that was too much. I mean, I don't know if you guys thought it was too much. I'm gonna guess you did because I didn't get a whole lot of things. Hey, what's up? There's people. Hey, oh birds. Chiaki Nanami. Do I know you? I think I know you, but I know you have so many names. If you're who I think you are, I'm not too surprised. Vgets Bex, thanks for joining today. So, like I said, it's a very relaxed type of format. I pretty much just kind of talk about a few things, and then if people want to chime in with their own contributions, questions, whatever. I also have a guitar not too far off from here, so for whatever arbitrary reason, I might just start playing that. I don't know. Yeah, that's a little bit of your musical preview today. I remember the fireside chat, that one guy calling here. Yes, well, that was actually, God, I can't remember if that was last year's or 2019's. Also, how's my sound coming in? Hopefully good. It's me, Ram. Okay, I thought so, but I thought last time you were on my stream you were under a different name, something that started with a Y, like Yamato or something, or Yamiti, I don't know. But yeah, no, there's a lot to talk about, both like in my personal life and also just, I just get distracted by my own guitar. There's a lot to talk about just in general, but also I want to hear from you guys. What's been going on, how your summer was, since summer is in fact coming to a close. It doesn't feel like it. My last stream outside here, it was probably the same temperature it is now. It was like in the 80s, and here we are again, September 15th, and it still feels like July 15th, which I think was the last time I did one of these, or maybe June 15th. I sound good. Oh, thank you. I've been practicing. Your sounds good. That's good, because I never know. Because like I said, I do one of these YouTube streams like maybe a few times a year, compared to my Twitch streams, which I do a few times a week. And, so I don't use my webcam, I don't use my headset, I just kind of go by the ambient noise and the microphone of my camera, which is over there, the same camera that I use for my, whatchamacallit here, my, God, I can't talk right now, for my Christmas chats. Summer was just work, mad draining, I hear you. Well, actually it was kind of on and off. It's funny, because when you're a DJ, and I am a DJ, yes, this is true, a wedding DJ in particular, summer's usually our busiest season. That hasn't been the case the past couple of years because of, well, COVID, but this last summer was kind of back to normal. We had a decent amount of weddings in July, not too many in August, and now in September we're kind of slowing down again. What about Bex, or anyone else who wants to chime in? The cool thing about YouTube and the internet in general is that I get to talk to people from all over the world, so I'm not just limited to this little state I live in. I'm excited for fall. I am too, and that's part of the reason I'm having this rant. Even though this isn't really a very fall setting, it still feels like summer out here. But that's Connecticut for you. What's the Mountain Dew of the day? That's a very good question. This is Mountain Dew Major Melon. This is a popular one that I drink during a lot of my streams. It's funny, on my video camera over there, it's kind of hard to see the can, but then if I look at my laptop screen, it's actually pretty easy to see the can. It's a nice, bright pink and green can. Actually, one of my favorite new flavors they've come up with. Maybe my favorite in the last few years or so. Because Mountain Dew, they seem to think we want 20 flavors of Mountain Dew. They made a Halloween flavor recently. I'm sure they'll make a Christmas flavor. There's always rumors of them making a New Year's flavor. You didn't mind my friend? No, actually, I was kind of hoping she would follow because I need more followers. But no, she was cool. I hope she actually liked the stream and wasn't just like watching it to give me like a pity view. Either way, I'll take a pity view. But yeah, but that was fun. Yeah, I didn't really get the whole Girl Scout cookies reference. I mean, I know what Girl Scout cookies are, but like the characters you were mentioning and how like, oh, this one's like a Thin Mint. I'm like, okay, that's a Thin Mint. Like you were even kind of freaking my friend Chris out, but that's all good. What's the Halloween flavor, the voodoo one? I tried it recently. It is on my YouTube channel. It's hard to describe. I thought it tasted like marshmallows, but some people say it didn't. 86 Adventures. What's this? 86 Adventures. I can't tell if I actually know you or this is a new account, so forgive me. If I don't know you, welcome to the stream. My name's Bobby Gaines. This is Net Gains. Just kind of a simple web show in which we talk about pretty much all manners of things going on. Although the fact that your name is 86 Adventures, and I know that somebody who drives an 86 car, yeah, you wanted to watch it for a bit. Well, that's good. Kind of a weird, not weird, but just kind of a weird time for you to jump in as far as the stream went, because I was like in the middle of Batman Arkham Asylum, and we're like fighting like the hallucinations of Scarecrow, which was just totally trippy, and I, in retrospect, should have seen that coming, but... Chris isn't here now, so I wouldn't worry too much about offending him. So, what have we been doing these past few months? As you guys know, back in summer, the last episode of Net Gains, I talked about the mall tour and how a lot of things were going on there. And as this final stretch gets ready to wrap up, and it has been an incredible one, we hit our biggest mall yet. John Lee, Trevor, Aisley, and I going to American Dream in East Rutherford. I actually have a whole video in which I just talk about this, but I'll just address it now. That mall was awesome. In case you didn't catch that from the video, I like lost my mind the first time I saw that mall. The second largest mall in America. I can't believe I'm saying that. I've been to the second largest mall in America. I don't know the exact number of malls in America, but yeah. Is this going to contain video games? I mean, as far as me playing them, no, but we can always talk about video games. One game I'm looking forward to in particular is Metroid Dread in early October, which I'm surprised it's coming out that soon, but I am definitely excited for it. It's right on that precipice of, like, if it came out any later, I would just ask for it for Christmas, but because it's early October, I'll probably just buy it. And I'll probably stream it on Chaos Blur, so that's another thing. I should have worn my Chaos Blur t-shirt, actually. Not looking forward to going to school soon, to be honest. Oh, that's right, you're back in class. I keep forgetting people go to school again. Like, not that, well, I mean, some of them didn't go to school last year because of the pandemic, but I also have not been in school for a long time. Take it or leave it. But that's got to be a little, not weird, but yeah. I'm sure it'll be a good day, though. So yeah, as far as if it'll contain video games, only if you want it to. I mean, we can talk about whatever you want. I am a gamer. I'm a bit of a retro gamer, as you guys know. I have a new Retro Request Party episode hopefully coming out next week, but that is hard to say. Because there are a lot of things going on in my life and just in life in general. But I digress. No, a lot of exciting stuff. I spend a lot of time talking about the exciting stuff, not a lot of time doing the exciting stuff, but it's there, trust me. So sometimes it's nice to just relax and get a little bit of time with my fans and friends and 86 Adventures who may or may not be Toaster Cartridge from frickin' Twitch, which I kind of think they are, but I don't have any proof of this. Sonic Colors Ultimate just came out recently. That was a fun day for me for a number of reasons, but getting to play that game, really my first time with Sonic Colors in a number of years, so it kind of felt new, kind of didn't. And one thing I noticed, and I'm not going to talk about the glitches and performance issues because that's been hammered to death, but one thing I did not remember so well from Sonic Colors is how nuanced the level design is, and I mean that sincerely. Like, I found myself going back and really like exploring different parts of the levels to find the red rings, and I'm like, they really hid these in some clever places. For a Sonic game, that's pretty decent. Play Smoke on the Water. I don't understand the point of this. Well, no one ever does. Okay, maybe you're not who I thought you were. Hold on. You just impromptu asked me to play Smoke on the Water, which I actually used to be able to play like really easily. Yes, the most common guitar song like ever. Smoke on the Water. Alright, so maybe you're not who I thought you were, but I'm still pretty sure you are. A lot of people don't know the point of this. I don't even know the point of this. Like I say, I usually have maybe like a handful of things that I want to talk about, and those are done in like 10 minutes, and then the rest of the stream can be just people talking or asking questions or what have you, or talking about your day, your life. Because this has always been a YouTube channel that when you average it all out, all the events, all the different stuff, it kind of comes back to this kind of blogging feeling, as it were. Nice. I don't know if it's nice. I've actually been playing guitar for almost 10 years now. It doesn't sound like it, but I started learning guitar back in 2012. I had some help from a friend of mine and a video game. That's right, I learned from a video game and people, real people. And that is why my skills are at times suspect, but I do write my own music, which I've occasionally posted on YouTube. I might do some more of that next year. A lot of different directions I could go with this YouTube channel. I seem to not be able to settle on one. And then, of course, we also have the Twitch channel, which seems to have taken on a life of its own. I had no idea when I started Chaos Blur, and I don't even think that was my streaming name for a while, but when I came up with the idea for Chaos Blur, I didn't think it would go nearly as far as it did. You gonna do any Fright Fest? You and Fright Fest, maybe. I mean, that's more up to you guys. Like, you're more into Halloween than I am. You know, if it's on a day I can go, like, yeah, no, I'm not going to go today. I don't even think it's ready today. I don't think it starts till, like, beginning of October. Like, it's always something I've wanted to go to. That's at Lake Compounds, right? Not Six Flags. It's always something I've wanted to go to, but it's just not, like, I don't know why I don't go to it. It's like I said, if you guys are available and I'm available and you want to go do it, like, I'll probably do it, but I'm not, like, counting down the days. But I'm glad you mentioned Halloween, because this is an interesting time of year, and it's still hard for me to wrap my head around the fact that Halloween season is kind of here. Actually, more than kind of here. It's very here. A lot of stores I go to have Halloween decorations, different candy. I'm actually kind of looking forward to my first sighting of Spirit Halloween. Then, of course, you guys know why, because the sooner we see Halloween, well, the sooner we see Christmas. And naturally, Christmas 2021 is on my mind. That is correct, but we'll see where that goes. Later in the month, into October, I might do like a Christmas preview show. But Halloween's still an important thing. I feel like nostalgic for Halloween. Like, the Halloweens of the last few years were nothing special, but like when I think of Halloween and what it meant to me growing up, and you know, sometimes still, it's still a nice holiday. It's still something I like. It kind of signifies that, you know, coming of fall, and which is very much around the corner. Not today either. It's at both. I know, like, they both do something, but I thought Fright Fest was specifically one of them. And I don't even know if it's anything, like, I don't know if it's like the holiday lighting where they just make it look all creepy, or if it's actually its own attraction where you go on, like, a ride and it's like a Halloween-themed ride. It can't be any more boring than the somewhat lit Christmas monorail ride that we waited 30 minutes for. And that is a true story from the epic Christmas season of 2019, in which my friends and I went to Lake Compounds for the holiday lighting, as I mentioned, and we spent longer waiting for the monorail to start than actually riding it. We spent a long time waiting. See, unlike when I do a planned rant and I kind of have a direction for it, when I do these live rants, I literally change direction like almost every second, because I don't know what people are going to ask. I know Rem's going to go for a more Halloween direction. I know 86 Adventures, who may or may not be who I think they are, will go in a more random direction. And I don't know who else might show up. I'm actually kind of looking forward to maybe appearances from other friends of mine, or maybe the Houlihan brothers, who I've not heard from in a long time. Kind of hope that they're okay as we head toward this end of the year. And yes, it is almost the end of the year. We are like in the third, pretty much the end of the third quarter of the year, which means the fourth quarter is coming up. And that is, of course, my favorite quarter, because that's where all the stuff happens. I might do another net gains, like, not to get too far ahead of myself, I might do another one like maybe mid to end November. Not a Christmas one, but kind of like a Thanksgiving one, believe it or not, because I think that's another really big part of the year, is like when you're just getting ready for Thanksgiving. So I like to do them kind of at little milestones. And I think that this is a milestone now. I think we've come out of the summer. Hopefully it was a good one for everybody. I know I got to see a few baseball games. One of them I put on YouTube when I went to Worcester to see the Woo Sox play. And they lost both games of a doubleheader, but man, it was still a fun time. My first time seeing that stadium. Also went to see the Hartford Yard Goats. That's another minor league team. Haven't seen any Major League Baseball this year, and likely not going to. We could talk Major League Baseball, by the way, because the Red Sox are technically in a playoff race, but I have my own thoughts on that. If Yassine shows up, or if any of my Red Sox fans show up, I could definitely talk about that some. But, you know, I kind of cater the discussion to what people like. So, like I said, there are a few number of ways we could go with this. You know, and I'm willing to talk about whatever. Like I mentioned, there's a lot of change coming up, a lot of exciting things coming up too, a lot of uncertainty that comes with that change, and well, I don't know. Let's see what we got here. Doesn't look like we have any comments on the old text line, so I guess I'll stick with the mall tour, which was kind of the main topic of like today, at least for now. And Mall Tour 2021, most recent stop was actually the main mall in Portland. I know I talk a lot about the big malls, but the small malls matter too. And that was like a really cool mall tour that I went on with my friends Krista and John LeBrecq up in Maine. Very simple area, but a fun one. Oh, we got somebody. Oh, it's Randy. What's up, Randy? I knew you'd find your way onto YouTube. Welcome to Net Gains with Bobby Gaines. Music is optional, but usually ends up finding its way in there. I think we scared off most of our other demographic, but that's alright. Yeah, so much for tuning that. But yeah, no, yeah, like I said, I mean, I can reset the conversation a little bit if you want, Randy. I was just talking about some of the mall tours coming up. It's still hard to believe that it's almost over. Mall Tour 2021, and, you know, we'll see how this thing wraps up. Obviously, I'm excited about it. Like, the mall tour has kind of been, like, not up and down, but, like, it kind of revved up a little bit slowly this winter when I brought back Mall Tour 2021. And then, you know, this summer kind of really brought it back around for me when we went to Palisades with my friends Trevor and Aisley, and then again seeing Trevor and Aisley at the American Dream Ball. That's when I started to like really be like, whoa, like we're really stepping it up this year, as if I didn't know. Awesome Twitch stream last night. Well, thank you for watching. That was a really fun stream. Batman Arkham Asylum is a game that I played a long time ago, but I didn't get very far in it, so I was actually pretty excited to like play it, you know, that far into the game. We got almost a few hours in, and I hope to continue it at some point soon. But that was a really fun time with a lot of viewers in and out of the stream. But that's what I like. I like viewers, whether I'm here or on Twitch. I mean, that's why I do it. I do it for the viewers. I do it for you guys and girls. Like I love talking, but I'm not gonna just talk to myself. That's what I got the video rants for. So, you know, right now I see we got a few viewers on the line here. I feel like I'm hosting my own radio talk show. Now, if you have anything to say, feel free to chime in now. But thank you. I appreciate you watching that. 2-year anniversary of Retro Request Parties coming up as far as the actual date, which was September 22nd. I don't know if I'll be having a stream on that day, but I am going to do a very special 2-year anniversary, which I know sounds weird, like that's not that long a time. 2-year anniversary Retro Request Party at some point before the end of September. And then October. And you know what that means. More Halloween stuff. Halloween content, all that good stuff. Things move fast. If the last month and a half has taught me anything, it's that. It seems like I was just, you know, wrapping up on the mall tour in New Jersey, which was actually like July. I thought it was like August, but it was back in July, almost 2 months ago. And, you know, here we are now. I'm planning another mall tour, another couple mall tours, because like I said, again, it's like still hard to believe that we are like almost at the end of this thing. I've been doing the mall tour, if we want to be technical, since 2009, which is the first mall tour ever. Well, there was a 2010 season, but it was abbreviated. Then there was a 2015 season, and since then, I've gone on a number of mall tours every year, and so it's still hard for me to believe that this is the last season. And, you know, I knew it the whole time. Like in 2020, I announced that I was retiring the mall tour, and the only reason I didn't finish it, pandemic kind of slowing things down, but now we've gotten even more action out of it because I've gone to more malls since then. And so I can finally say, when this is all said and done, that I definitely, you know, did the mall tour justice. And that's really all it was about. It wasn't about, you know, rushing it. It wasn't about going to, like, a million malls. It was about making it the best trip it could be. And to me, seeing Krista and John at the main mall, which is the last thing I did mall tour-wise, that was, like, kind of the cherry on top. And I'm not saying we're done, but that was just a really nice touch that this mall tour had kind of been lacking. Was kind of that retro feel of, like, because the mall itself kind of felt like a 90s mall. And the video kind of felt like my videos from like 2006, 2007, in which Krista was in them all the time. And it was, somehow it was still a new location. So you had kind of a nice little mix of old and new there. What do we got here? Can't wait to see the Celtics in the NBA Finals. Well, you might be having to wait a while for that. I don't know what to expect from the Celtics this year, but the last couple of years, if I'm being completely honest, have been incredibly disappointing. Not just from a result standpoint, but just from like an effort standpoint. Like, one thing I could always say about the Celtics 3 years ago, whenever they had Gordon Hayward, like, I felt like they always gave it their best effort, even if they fell short, even if it didn't work out. Like I felt like the Celtics always overperformed with Brad Stevens. Like they, and I liked Brad Stevens as a coach. I'm kind of sorry that he went to the front office because that means he's pretty much done coaching. Like I think he could still take an A team to an NBA final, maybe not the Celtics, but I think Brad Stevens is a really good coach. I think he got a lot out of those players from 2015 to 2019. Like the last couple of years, I don't know if they stopped responding to him. But it was really disappointing for me as a Celtics fan to see that effort kind of just lacking. And I don't just say that because they lost. It was just in the bubble in 2020 when they had a chance to go to the finals. And I mean, yeah, it would have been kind of weird. They would have gotten blown out by the Lakers, but it still would have been a finals appearance. It still would have been nice to say, hey, they're moving in the right direction. And instead, they get blown out by the Heat in the Eastern Conference Finals. And when I say the Heat, I don't mean the LeBron James Heat of 2012. I mean the Miami Heat. That are a decent team. I think they finished like 7th in the league last year. Or no, the Celtics were 7th in the league, so I think the Heat finished higher, but the Heat are an okay team, and Celtics usually beat those kind of teams. The Celtics, usually put their best effort forth, and, they'd find a way. And, for everyone who talks about, the future is bright with Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown, well, I've been hearing that for 5 or 6 years now. So when is the future getting here? No disrespect to Jaylen Brown or Jason Tatum. I love them both as players, but when is this future? When is this dominant, big three era? If they had a third player, like when is this starting? Because right now the Celtics seem like they're so far off from even contending in the East. Forget about a championship. You got some really good teams in the West too, but you got the Nets, you got the Bucks, you got the Sixers. You have so many good teams in the East. I think the Celtics will be in there, but I don't think they're going to the finals. I just think they're so far off from those other teams. They don't have a Kyrie or a Harden or Durant, and they've tried to get Durant. I feel like they try to get Durant every other year. Every year Durant's a free agent. They're like, please come to Boston. Durant's like, no. Durant wants nothing to do with Boston. But no, another NBA Jam stream. Well, that might be one way we see the Celtics in the finals. Although if it's NBA Jam, that means you're going to see a lot of just really crappy three-pointers that they chuck from half court. NBA Jam's a super fun game, but I always find a way to lose. I don't know how. I'll be ahead by 10 points, and the other team will just start lobbing up these half-court shots and making them and stealing the ball every second. The game is rigged, I'm telling you. I mean, I've won a couple games by the skin of my teeth, but I mean, I should be able to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves of 1995. That was not a loaded team by any means. But yeah, I'm going to go ahead and put the guitar down because I feel like right now it's just hindering me more than it's helping. The Celtics played a great game last year. Yeah, maybe they played one great game. I'll give you that. When they played the Nets in the first round of the playoffs and got blown out, they played one good game that they won. I think it was game 3 or 4 or something to make it a little more interesting. But overall, the Celtics did not play up to their potential. I've been saying this for the last couple of years. And I've always given the Celtics credit. Like I said, I was really excited to see what they were building. I liked Brad Stevens and his coaching style. I think it's interesting that they got Al Horford back for this year, but I don't think it's going to really do much. I think, in a way, they're trying to build that kind of team again. They're trying to build that, little engine that could team, with the 2 budding stars and a couple other people, but I just don't buy it anymore. That was entertaining 4 or 5 years ago, but now it's just do something. Danny Ainge, who I know isn't the GM anymore, but Danny Ainge, I feel like he swung and missed so many times. Yeah, he got Kyrie Irving and then let him go, and he got Kemba Walker, which, okay, was a serviceable replacement, just didn't pan out. But there were just so many trade deadlines that I'm just watching Danny Ainge, do something. Trade some picks, get a decent player, bring someone in. They brought in, Evan Fournier last season, but at that point it was, too late. The team wasn't going to go anywhere. Besides Metroid Dread, what other games are you looking forward to? That is a good question, because really, I mean, you guys know my interests. You know how much I love 3D platformers and everything, and there really aren't a lot of those coming out. The new Sonic game, whether it's Sonic Rangers or whatever it is, isn't until 2022. Sonic Colors Ultimate was a game I was looking forward to. That's already out, and hopefully they patch it so it's actually more playable. But as far as other games I'm looking forward to for the end of the year, there's really nothing that's coming to mind right now. Metroid Dread's going to be awesome. That'll keep me busy for a couple months probably, if not longer. And then, I don't know, I don't even know what's coming out, in November, December. I know the big names like Forza and Far Cry, but those don't really do a lot for me, to be perfectly honest. What alcoholic beverage? Looking for recommendations. All right, Frankie. This is a Mountain Dew, as I mentioned. Wow, we got a few random questions here. This is not an alcoholic beverage. This is Mountain Dew Major Melon, but I feel like you knew this wasn't an alcoholic beverage. Anyone who knows me knows I don't drink, but my favorite Mountain Dew, in terms of the alternate flavors, and most people will attest to this, my favorite Mountain Dew is Mountain Dew Whiteout, which is the specialty flavor. Worst pie you had? Are you just like going on Google and searching for like random questions to ask people? My favorite Mountain Dew is Mountain Dew Whiteout, and the reason I say that is because you can't really quantify the flavor of Whiteout. Like, it's not grape, it's not orange, it's not some bizarre mixture. I mean, it is a bizarre mixture, but it's a really good one. It's smooth citrus is the official description of Whiteout, but it's really good. I like it. It's a very refreshing beverage. I'm really pissed that they don't make it anymore. They discontinue it, or it's only available in Wisconsin, some weird stuff like that. Hopefully someday Whiteout will find its way back into my life through some kind of twist of fate. I know my friend Angela has hooked me up with a few bottles here and there, but until then I just go to other states occasionally and search for it, and I never find it. But if we're talking about Mountain Dew in general, I still have to go with the original. The original is what started it. The original is the distinct flavor that we all know and love. And so I can't really go against the original, even with all these other flavors floating around. The original is what started it. So I have to give credit to the kind of godfather of Mountain Dew, if you will, which is Mountain Dew. So, not to be too boring here. Well, we got a lot of stuff going on here. Favorite weather? That's a new one. Worst pie I've ever... I don't even know how to answer that. I don't really eat a lot of pies in general, but favorite cheese... Okay, well, actually, the cheesecake one I could answer, and I'm surprised you don't even know the answer already. I love cheesecake, but... yeah, I'm not a huge pie person. I really like apple pie. I like pumpkin pie. I remember one year for I think it was Thanksgiving, or maybe it was Christmas even, my dad got a peach pie. It was like, we thought we were getting an apple pie because it looked like an apple pie. It was a peach pie. And it tasted weird because what's peach doing in a pie? I mean, I guess that'd be the worst pie, but I mean, again, I'm not really searching out pies, so it's not really something I do a whole lot. My second favorite holiday, believe it or not, is Halloween, just by default. Unless you count my birthday as a holiday, I've kind of gone back and forth on that. I don't really. If my birthday bash was a holiday, I guess that would be number 2, but I'm not going to say it is because it's not really a holiday. It's something that's specific to people, like specific birthdays. So I would say, what do you call it? Halloween's still number 2 by default now. You know, don't read too much into that, but Halloween is still the only holiday besides Christmas, and I guess Thanksgiving kind of, that I do a logo for. I still do things for Halloween. I still have promotions. I still do little things. It's not on the level of Christmas, but it's still there. Then probably Easter would be in the top 3 or 4. I really love Easter for some reason. It's just a nice relaxing day that takes place right in the spring, right when you kind of need it, a few months after Christmas. So I've always felt that way about Easter. It's a really nice, solid holiday. It's not going to blow you away, but it's a really good one. So yeah, I'd still say Halloween is number 2, but you know, it's not... It's really Christmas and everyone else, if I'm being honest. Like, Christmas is way up here. Halloween's, like, down here somewhere, and everything else is, like, over here. Like, I think I saw something on the floor there. It might have been one of the holidays. What else we got here? Favorite cheesecake flavor? I guess I didn't officially answer that. It is lemon, just like everything else. I love lemon cheesecake. Love it, love it, love it, love it. Well, I love anything lemon, but like that aftertaste, like even if it's like a lemon pie, but like a lemon cheesecake, which I've had a few times at Cheesecake Factory, really good. Although I'm a sucker for just the original cheesecake, like the cheesecake from my birthday bash a few years ago that Dane just kind of handed out to everybody. The little sliver I got to taste of that was pretty good. But yeah, no, I like the original cheesecake flavor too. What is this about? Halo Brew. I know you're probably just making a joke, but I think there really was a Mountain Dew Halo flavor. Like, they make one for almost every big game release. I'm not sure what flavor it's supposed to be half the time. Like, every time a new game comes out, they're like, Call of Duty Mountain Dew. It, like, tastes like war. Like, it's like, what? Why do I want to drink war? Least favorite season. That's a weird question because, believe it or not, like, I don't hate winter. Like, I don't love it. Like, the weather kind of sucks, but, like, there is a part of winter I hate. So it's not a full season, but it's, like, probably I'd say, like, from, like, January to March. Like, I don't like it. It's not even because of the weather, although the weather usually sucks too. It's that there's nothing going on in that part of the year. Like, Christmas is over in December, you have New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then it's just nothing. January is like the most boring month of the year, and it's 31 days. Then you have February, which is also very boring. and March can be hit or miss, and then finally in April you get a few things that are exciting. So I've always gone on record as saying that the beginning of the year is like the weakest part of the year, and at least in November and December it's colder weather, but you have kind of that Christmas excitement going on there. That cheesecake was worth it, and I don't even love cheesecake. Oh, the cheesecake was delicious. I'm surprised you don't love cheesecake though, because does it have cheese in it? I know it's called cheesecake, but I don't really taste cheese in it. But no, I've always said the beginning of the year is like kind of useless. Like there needs to be another holiday. I've always said this. And I've actually suggested something that I know will never happen, but I've always said that Halloween should be like in June. And the reason I say that is because if Halloween was in June or even July, I would celebrate it a lot more, because it would be right in the middle of the year. I could do like a Halloween Central kind of thing. I could really build it up. But because it's so close to Christmas, I like really can't. My hands are tied. Because as soon as November starts, you guys know I'm full on Christmas mode. But if there was a holiday, and it doesn't even have to be Halloween, but if there was another big holiday in like June, I would really be able to like do that up. And then I would have like kind of a nice little 5 or 6 month break between each holiday, whereas right now it feels like all the holidays are just clumped at the end of the year, and then there's like Easter and April, and that's about it. But whatever. I agree on the weather. Yeah, it's not just the weather. I mean, it is the weather, but it's also just the fact that there's just nothing going on. It gets dark at like 5 o'clock, which, there's even some value in that. Like I like some of those days where I'm just kind of chilling, watching movies. It's like February. There's not much going on. It might be snowing outside. Cheesecake is great, but have you ever had? No, I haven't, and I don't plan to because I don't like Oreos. Favorite Starbucks beverage? See, I don't. You guys either don't know me or you're just like asking arbitrary questions, because I really don't drink coffee, like of any kind. Iced coffee. Like, I don't know. My friend Caitlin at one point tried to make me try like these different Starbucks flavors. Like she got me like some kind of latte thingy that was okay. I just don't like the aftertaste a lot of times, and a lot of people think it's because it's a hot beverage. That's why they're like, oh, do you like iced coffee? I'm like, it's not that, because I drink tea. I like tea. Tea's a good hot beverage. Coffee, I just don't like the taste of. I don't like the aftertaste. It's kind of bitter, even with, you gotta put like a ton of sugar in it just to make it less bitter. And it's just, to me, there's so many better things to drink if you're looking for that caffeine fix, because a lot of people are like, oh, I just drink coffee to wake up. Well, then drink something else. Like, there are other things to wake up with. It's just that we have it in our heads that coffee's got to be this thing. That coffee's got to be the thing you wake up with. Like, and that's fine if you legitimately like the taste of it, but I feel like people don't drink it for the taste. I feel like they drink it as kind of like a starter. You drink it with breakfast. You drink it on your way to work. You drink it at work. Like, there's coffee machines everywhere. So you're kind of like, it's kind of put in your face all the time that you should drink coffee. It's there. It's available. But like, that doesn't mean you have to love it. I actually didn't know. Nah, I really don't. And it's funny because, you guys know me. If I love something, you'll see me with it all the time. And what do you see me with on almost every video? A can of Mountain Dew, a can of Coke, My favorite non-soda drink, just in case that question comes up, is probably like lemonade or like Hawaiian Punch, any kind of like juice beverage. I really do like juice. Maybe I should start drinking more juice on the streams. Favorite tea? Well, once again, I'm going to have to go with lemon and be boring. There's a lemon ginger tea that Bigelow's makes that's really good. Especially on a cold day, you make a hot cup of it. I've also done the iced one, but the hot tea is great. Very relaxing, smells good, tastes great, all that good stuff. Coffee's just dirty water. It really is. And actually, I mean, in a way, so is tea. There's a funny joke in one of my favorite shows on TV, New Girl, where somebody's like, oh, I forgot how to make tea. And they're like, you forgot how to make tea? It's water and leaves. Water and leaves. Because when you think about it, you really are. You're just dangling... You're boiling water, and then you're just dangling like this pack of leaves in it, and the leaves are what give it the flavor. Like, it really is just hot water and leaves, or herbs, whatever it is. I mean, I know that's a bit of an exaggeration, but I just found that funny. Favorite vacation spot? Oh, that would require me to take a vacation. And the only thing I've taken that was close to a vacation was almost 10 years ago now, when I went to the DJ show in Atlantic City. And I spent a good amount of time when I wasn't looking at DJ stuff, like just kind of on the beach, on the boardwalk, going to the different shops and stuff. And that was a really fun, like 3 or 4 day thing. Oh, Manuel just showed up. Favorite Duran Duran song? See, somebody knows me. Somebody knows me enough to know that I love Duran Duran. And now you're going to get me talking about their new album that comes out next month. But let me finish my question with Rem here. Favorite vacation spot? If I got to pick one that I haven't actually been to that I want to go to, I think you all know that it's going to be Mall of America, because I desperately want to see that mall. It's huge. It's I don't even know. But just from how excited I got going to the second largest mall in America, I can only imagine how excited I would get to go to the largest one and just spend a whole few days there just checking it all out. I know that's not a popular opinion. I know a lot of people would say Miami or California or whatever. No, I'd say Minnesota to see Mall of America because I'm just weird like that. In fact, almost all my answers to these questions are going to be weird. They're just going to be. My favorite Duran Duran song. So here's another answer that's going to be weird. I know you guys all think I'm going to say like Hungry Like the Wolf or Rio. I actually don't really care for those songs. One of my favorite songs of theirs is The Chauffeur, which is not a bonus track, but it's another track off the album Rio from 1982. But my favorite song from Duran Duran is actually from their 2010 album, All You Need Is Now, and it's a song called The Man Who Stole the Leopard. And that's actually something I have not really admitted. A lot of people will ask me what my favorite Duran Duran song is. Well, I'm telling you right now, it's The Man Who Stole the Leopard. It's a 6-minute song. It's like really dark, atmospheric. And I mean, there's some other really great songs from them. It's really hard to narrow it down. They have so many styles. They have a new album coming out in October that I'm looking forward to, but I'm not like as excited about it as I was for their last release. I don't know why. It feels a little rushed, which is weird to say because it's been like 6 years since their last album. All right, here's a throwback. Favorite movie you filmed? See, I should have known that was coming. Favorite movie? See, that's a weird one because that's not like my favorite movie I made or my favorite movie that like quality-wise, because I think quality-wise, I don't think you can debate. Blockbuster 3 was the best quality movie I made, you know, as long as it is, and it's like a 3-hour movie. You know, I did some of my best editing in that movie. I still love the editing I did in that movie, the cuts, the music, some of the music I wrote myself. I mean, I did a ton of work with that movie, but I don't think it's my favorite movie I filmed. Oof. You know, it's hard to say, because Blockbuster 2 had some really good moments of filming, but also some really not good moments of filming. That was kind of my big leap up from like an hour-long movie to a 2-hour-long movie. Movie Hero 2 always had a big spot in my heart, even though that's not like a high-quality movie, but just kind of some of the fun times I had with John and Dane on that one really made it memorable. I liked filming the first Blockbusted. Really, for some reason, I was not a huge fan of filming Movie Hero Forever. Like, I liked that movie, but just like filming it just felt kind of weird. I don't know why. Maybe because it was a smaller cast, maybe because it just felt kind of rushed. Because I was trying to get that movie out, Movie Hero Forever. I was trying to get it out for my 1,000th video at the time. What do we got here? Quaffle Heart. Great choice, not a normal standard. Heyo. Tell me which Chicken State. YOLO, I thought you were streaming on Twitch. Quaffle. Wait a minute. Was that person really not you, the 86 Adventures? Well, if not, that's going to be really weird. Not really excited about the new album either. Oh, you a Duran Duran fan? It's not that I'm not excited about it. It's just, I don't know. When I first heard Invisible, which was the first single on it, I was intrigued because, you know, I can't really judge it by the first single. It's the only song I knew at that point. But then, like, they started releasing other songs, and again, there just hasn't been anything that's blown me away. Like, it hasn't been bad, but I feel like it's almost too, and I hate to say this about Duran Duran, but I feel like it's too basic. Like, I feel like it's something, I feel like they're better than it, at least to this point. And the cool thing about Duran Duran albums is there's usually a few really cool songs tucked in there that they don't really promote. So I look forward to kind of hearing those and getting surprised by them. But at this point, I've heard like 5 songs from the album. They even previewed a song at a show of theirs recently called Together United or something, or United. That was okay. Again, it kind of reminded me of like 80s Duran Duran. I think it needed a little more to it. But again, when it's live, it's kind of hard for me to judge it. Maybe the studio version will have a little more to it. I think so far my favorite new Duran Duran song they revealed is More Joy. I like the kind of like 80s synth and the chorus is really upbeat. Like, I don't hate 80s style. I just hope that this album does a little bit more than that. So far, everything I've heard has been kind of like just like 80s throwback, which is fun for a couple tracks, but I'm hoping it'll have a different sound because usually their albums have different sounds one to the other. Paper Gods, I thought, did a really good job of emulating their old sound while also being something new. And it feels like this album's trying to do that too, but they don't really need to, because they already had Paper Gods. They already had All You Need Is Now, which kind of did those things. I've been to your house a ton. I still have never seen this room. This room is fairly new. Yeah, you haven't been to my house, like, I don't know if you've been to my house this year, because this room is, like, finished this year. My mom likes Duran Duran, listened to them a lot in the 80s and saw them live. Her favorite band member is the blonde Nick Rhodes? He's not blonde, though. He's got, like, white hair. Maybe he had blonde hair back in the 80s. Although I think he dyes his hair. I mean, I don't know how old he is now, but yeah, I don't know. I'm a huge Duran Duran fan. Wait, what room are you sitting in? This is, I don't know what you call this room. This is like the outdoor room. Like it's technically outside. If you walk out of the porch, you're in this room. There's a nice little swinging chair here. Yeah, Nick Rhodes, the synth player for Duran Duran. I mean, my favorite member is still Simon Le Bon. He's the soul of the band, basically, with his vocals. Like even with these new songs, if anybody else sang them, I'd be like, eh. But Simon does always deliver a really good vocal performance, particularly on the song Anniversary, which again, I don't know if I'm a huge fan of it, but with him singing it, it kind of helps pump it up a little bit. One thing I was pleasantly surprised by, and I don't know if I had done my stream when this came out, but Maroon 5's new album, which I actually listened to in this room. I had my headphones on and I just kind of listened to it in here the night that it debuted. Maroon 5's latest album, Geordie, which I know gets a lot of hate. I thought it was pretty good. Like, I really did. I think it's in my top 4 for Maroon 5 albums, which, doesn't put it up there with the best, but it's also not the worst. It's a really good album. It's got some really cool songs on it. Do I wish it was a little more creative? Probably. There are a couple songs that are a little bit throwaway, but for the most part, I thought Geordie was a really solid album. Definitely a nice bounce back from Red Pill Blues, and I hope that the next album takes more of what worked from this album and works with it. But I thought Geordie was a really good album, which puts me in a weird spot with Maroon 5 now, because Maroon 5 used to be like my favorite band, nothing, no debate, whatever. And then they had kind of a couple, not bad albums, but just albums that weren't like stellar. So for their 7th album, I was kind of like, I'm going to listen to it, but I don't know what to expect. And then it pleasantly surprised me, so now I'm kind of back to, okay, they're pretty good. Like, it's kind of a funny thing. YOLO, Sunroom, Nick Rhodes, he had blonde in the 80s. He might have. I think he purposely, dyes his hair white. Not that he wouldn't have white hair anyway, because I think he's in his 60s now. I do love John Taylor. John Taylor always standing there with his bass guitar, just never changes his facial expression. Just always just kind of looks away. But you can tell he's enjoying it. Like when John Taylor plays the bass, he really plays the bass. Did not realize that band was still relevant. Maroon 5 or Duran Duran? Yeah. Well, Duran Duran releases albums. Not as often as they used to, but they release albums every 4 or 5 years or so. Well, this will be 6 years since the last album. But yeah, that is the funny thing. Duran Duran's been around for 40 years, and most people just know them for their 80s songs, which was really only a 5-year span that they were really big in the 80s. Even in the late 80s, they kind of faded. But, I mean, I still love their stuff, particularly post-80s. I really love their Wedding album from 93. Kind of hit a bit of a rough spot there with Bedazzled and Pop Trash, but then pretty much everything from Astronaut on has been really good, I think. Yeah. And I guess from Maroon 5, even I forget sometimes that they have as many hits as they do. They've been around since 2002, which is almost 20 years now. And, they had Harder to Breathe, This Love, and so on. But they've had, and again, not everything they put out is gold, but they've had a number of hits in the last 10 years even that, still make them chart relevant for if nothing else, which I'm not a big fan of. I don't care if a band has a million #1 hits, but hey, I can say my favorite band has a bunch of #1 hits, so it's not the worst thing, I guess. But yeah, I mean, I'll always prefer Maroon 5's first album. I'll always prefer the sound of their second and third album. Really all their albums are good for different reasons, but I think there is a sound that works the best for them. And they kind of touched on it in their last album, but in my opinion, not enough. I would like to see more of that going forward. I know Maroon 5 always teases, particularly Adam Levine and James Valentine, they always tease that, we're going to make an album, we're going to go back to basics at some point. But that point never comes. Each album goes by and it just sounds like more and more modern and kind of away from their original sound, which is fine. But don't tell us you're going to make a basic album and then make one that's completely, 2021, which is fine. They want to stay relevant. I understand it. But to me, they were at their best when they weren't trying to sound like a specific era. This Love sounds like a song that could have come out in any era, 70s, 80s, 90s, whatever. Same with a lot of their early stuff. Same with Hands All Over, there were a few songs on there that sounded kind of like doo-wop or rock, or just different genres. I like when they do different genres, but they still put their own flair on it, which is something they really did up through V, and then I kind of felt like they just tried to ride the popular trend. Because in 2017 they came out with Red Pill Blues, and I felt like that just kind of rode the trend of I don't know what you'd call it, kind of a mix of R&B and hip-hop, songs that kind of meandered a lot. That was the majority of Red Pill Blues. And if you listen to it now, it doesn't age well, because maybe back then, stuff like Best for You or Wait. Maybe those songs sounded like they fit in 2017, but you listen to it 4 years later and it just doesn't fit. It's not something you really want to return to. It's something you'd hear on the radio then, but now you don't really care about it. And even if you heard it on the radio, that doesn't mean it's good. So, like, again, those songs weren't great then, and they've kind of gotten worse now because they sound dated. Whereas some of their older stuff sounds like it could have been played at any point. Particularly songs like Sugar. And Quaffle Boy just randomly chimed in with No. Which makes me wonder now if 86 Adventures and Quaffle Boy actually are different people. Because I am actually going to feel kind of bad about that if they're not. Or if they are. Wait, yeah, if they are different people, I'm going to feel bad about it. So yeah, no. A lot going on. Definitely a lot. And I still have not even gotten to the biggest announcement, which some of you know. Actually, most of you know, some of you don't. And I haven't made too big a deal of it because I'm, not really something I talk about a lot on my YouTube channel, but I do have a new job that I will be starting hopefully next week. And I'm just kind of waiting for a few things to go through. But I will be at AV Tech for Mohegan Sun's Encore Division, which is a department that puts on a lot of their special events, conventions, trade shows, anything that needs any kind of visual audio help. I will be involved in some way. I even kind of got a little taste of that action last weekend, and being a DJ, I kind of dabble in it here and there, so it's an opportunity I'm excited for. It's a step in a different direction for me, but it's a one that I'm excited about. Just thought I'd throw that in there. Favorite ice cream flavor. That's actually a very valid one, because that's not one I talk about often. And I know you guys all think it would be lemon, which lemon sorbet is my favorite, but that's a sorbet. In terms of ice cream, because I don't think there is a lemon ice cream, I've always loved black raspberry. In fact, one of my favorites is black raspberry ice cream with Kit Kats on top as a topping, believe it or not. I know that's not a traditional ice cream topping, but I always loved the little Kit Kats. If I ever went to Friendly's, I would get black raspberry ice cream with Kit Kats on top. Do you like your... You know I don't. You know I don't. You know I don't like Jersey Shore. The Snooker. Isn't it Snooky? I am still at Staples. That's a situation that still has to kind of work itself out. I'm not sure what's going to happen with that. I kind of... Part of me wants to just rip the Band-Aid off and just leave altogether, but then part of me is like, I might need to keep them around just in case work gets slow at Mohegan Sun, so... It's an ongoing process. My orientation is supposed to be next week, so I'm going to find out a lot then in terms of, like, will this job be so demanding that I won't need Staples, or is it something where I should still keep Staples around? That's something I still need to kind of broach. But thank you. It is great news. It's something that still hasn't really hit me. I just got the news a couple weeks ago, and so far not much has changed. But, like I said, things have changed in a hurry in other ways. So, this time next month, things could be completely different. So, thank you again for all the well wishes. And, as always, I'm always rooting for you guys and girls out there. My YouTube, Twitch universe, whatever. It's going to be a great opportunity for sure. And, I always look forward to hearing good news from all of you whenever it happens. All right, fine, Snooker ruined, obviously. It's funny because I actually applied to this job before the pandemic happened. I applied for it like January of 2020. And thought I was on the way to getting it, and then of course, the pandemic happened, everything kind of got delayed. I worked at Staples for another year when they reopened, and here I am still. But, got a third job to add to the mix now, and I'm still DJing, and in fact, the DJing, I don't want to say it's getting more serious, but like my boss is getting me like all new gear and stuff. Like he really wants me to be kind of the second in command there, which, only entails working a couple days a week, so I can probably handle that. I still don't know what's going to happen. Like, I don't even know what is going to happen. But look forward to it. Of course, you guys are going to hear about it, whether you want to or not, pretty much all through the year and into next year. And 2021's been an interesting one, coming off of 2020, which was a very, very bizarre year. But even 2020 had its ups and downs. Like, a lot of people just write off 2020 as like the worst year in history. I still think, I guess from a worldwide point of view, it was the worst year in history. But I still think... it had some redeeming qualities, not as many as usual, but it made 2021 look better. Like anything kind of looks better after that. So 2021, I think, has been like an above-average year, and I think depending on how this thing wraps up, it could be even better than that. And going into 2022, I see a lot of promising things. A lot of things I want to do next year that I'm not talking about right now because it's still kind of in the future, but it's going to depend on how things go these last few months of the year. But more than that, I know Quaffle and sorry, I cannot say this name, Chiaki Nanami. I know you guys went to a convention recently, which was the first time for that in a while. It's funny how much you miss these things, and now we're kind of getting back to it. And I don't want to say we're taking it for granted, but I'm watching sporting events again, and there's a million people in the stands, and it's nice to see that again. But who knows? You cross your fingers. You hope there's not another moment like COVID, but who knew all that was going to happen? So right now we're kind of getting back to that kind of sigh of relief, but you just hope it lasts. If you were debating on quitting your second job, the best course of action would be to give the new job your 36-day trial, see if something. Well, it's not a temporary position. I know what you're saying, though, and I'm not going to, quit, my first day at the new job. I'm not going to quit my old job, but I don't know if I'd go 30 to 60 days either. That seems like a long time to try and juggle both of them. Not that it's impossible, and in fact, this isn't my first time having 3 jobs. I once had a third job as a graphic designer that was about 20 hours a week, but that wasn't nearly as demanding. Favorite restaurant? I could go in a number. Favorite restaurant really depends on what I'm in the mood for at the time. Pizza Hut's my favorite pizza restaurant, I don't know what you call Applebee's, but that's my favorite one of those restaurants. Red Robin's my favorite burger restaurant. There are different categories of restaurant depending on what I'm in the mood for that I would go with that one over other ones. This is, I never realized how weird these were. I almost feel like I'm at a press conference and it's just I need the cameras flashing in my eye or something. But it's not a matter of if I quit my current job, it's just when. It's probably not going to be immediately, but at some point, I'm going to try to phase it out. But from what I understand, because I do know somebody who works at this place, they get slow around November or so, which is when retail picks up with Black Friday and everything. So that could be a reason to keep Staples around at least for the end of the year, and see where we go from there. But I don't know. There's still a lot going on. There could be a full-time opening at my new job that might not open until next year, but they haven't even started yet effectively. But so many questions, so little time. I don't know. I wanted to broach Halloween a little bit as a topic, but I feel like we've done that already, and there's not really anything popping out at me about this Halloween in particular. Sometimes there'll be something about a Halloween that's coming up that'll make me go oh, that's a good idea, or that's kind of cool. And this year, I'm kind of neutral on Halloween. Maybe that'll change once I start seeing the Halloween stuff. If I see a Spirit Halloween, which they usually open one up around this area, or in Waterford, there's a couple places they open them up. But as of right now, there's not enough Halloween stuff in the air for me to really get into it. It's kind of funny because I make my Halloween logo pretty much right before I make my Christmas logo. I make my Halloween logo beginning of October, and then the next day I'm working on the Christmas logo because that stuff I got to prepare in advance. Christmas Central, as you guys know, is my whatever you call it, my masterpiece, my magnum opus. That was the word I was looking for. My big thing. Every year I plan a different theme, a different series of themes, and so that takes more than a couple days or even a couple weeks. In a lot of cases, I already know what direction I'm going to go in even the year before, but that's another story. But no, this has been an enjoyable episode so far. I'm not sure how much longer I'm going to keep going, but I know we do have some people here in the chat that I want to get to. I still have not heard from Kevin or Ryan from the That's Fine Productions, but that's all right. Just want to see how they're doing, because I know they were big Maltor fans. Favorite Halloween movie? See, I do watch a few Halloween movies, but they're not your typical scary Halloween movies. One of my favorites was always Casper. It's not even really a Halloween movie, other than the fact that he's a ghost. I know it has a Halloween party in it. I loved Halloween Town on Disney Channel. That was one of my favorites, or Halloween Town 2. I like the more silly Halloween movies. I don't really do the horror movies, although I've seen a couple of them. I like Nightmare Before Christmas, which I usually watch on Halloween because it's kind of that gateway between Halloween and Christmas. I always find it funny how excited the people in Halloween Town get, or at least when I say Halloween Town, I mean the Halloween world in Nightmare Before Christmas. I love how excited they get about Halloween And like the day after Halloween, they're like, there's only 364 days until the next Halloween. Like that's me with Christmas. Like they get so excited about Halloween because that's all they have. You know, like that's their thing. They're all like skeletons and ghouls all celebrating Halloween. So that might be my favorite Halloween movie as far as like a movie that actually stays in the theme of Halloween. But I love watching Casper. I actually really like the Goosebumps movie, the first one. I'd never seen the second one. But the first one was a pleasant surprise. I thought, oh, this is going to be lame. It's just going to play on nostalgia from like the 90s books. And it kind of does, but to me, it's heartfelt enough, and it's a fun enough movie. In fact, now you guys get me excited about watching the Halloween movies, because that is one thing I like to do in October, is just kind of sit down with some popcorn, watch some Halloween movies, but not the scary ones, the really stupid, kid-friendly ones that I watched when I was younger. You should have done mall tour shirts. It's funny you mentioned that, because a couple of years ago I did give my friends Kevin and Ryan Mall Tour 2018 shirts, which they wore on Mall Tour 2019, with the logo on the front and the tour stops on the back. It's not out of the realm of possibility. I still have a few mall tours left. I don't really know. There's a couple of reasons I don't do it. One of them is it's incredibly dated. Like the shirts like kind of don't make any sense after a certain point. And also, if I wear them on mall tours, it just kind of draws attention to the fact that I'm filming in the mall. Like, it's just so obvious at that point. It's like, Mall Tour 2021, come get me. Like, it would just be such a moving target. Yeah. Second Goosebumps ever seen Fear Street. I didn't even know they made a Fear Street. You mean based on the books? I never read the books, and I never, like, whatever. Second Goosebumps was awful. It was good. They made 3 of them? They made 3 Fear Streets? See, this is how little I know. I never read the books. I know Fear Street was like the other Goosebumps. Like, people either read Goosebumps or Fear Street. Those were like the 2 kid horror books when I was growing up, and I always loved Goosebumps. I remember when, what was it? The Beast from the East came out. I was about probably 8 or 9 years old when that book came out. I always liked the cover. I actually don't remember much about the book, but like after that I was hooked. It was like every month I had to get the new Goosebumps. I think I made it up to like number 100. I don't even know how many they made. In fact, for a while, I think they stopped making them, and then they started making them again. R.L. Stein, rather, started writing them again. It was a good trilogy. Bobby Gaines merch. I do have a Chaos Blur t-shirt. I should have brought it on camera. That's about all I have, though. I'm thinking about doing more t-shirts. The problem with t-shirts is they're really expensive to make, unless you make like 50 of them. Like, if you make 50 of them, it's like, you know, 120 bucks, so it's like a few dollars a shirt. But, like, what am I going to do with 50 t-shirts? But then if you just make one, it's like 25 bucks. But, like, I'm only going to wear one, so like I don't want to buy, there's like no in between. I can't just buy 10, I got to buy 1 t-shirt. Or I got to buy 25 t-shirts. Like, I'm not just going to start handing out these t-shirts. You know, I have plenty of like logos and stuff to put on them. iPhone or Android, Fear Street is more, is it really? You mean the movies or the books? Because like, the books I always thought were in the same vein as Goosebumps. Like, I thought they were just kind of like, you know, go into an abandoned house and there's like a werewolf in there or something. Kind of like Goosebumps, but maybe a little more gritty. But like gory, I wouldn't expect that. Maybe from the movies. Maybe the movies like rated R or something. I don't know. See, I don't know if the Fear Street books are the same as the movies. I have no idea. I don't know a lot about horror movies. Maybe there's like a separate series called Fear Street that's like a movie series that's more rated R. But the books I always thought looked fairly tame. It was like, you know, same kind of monsters you'd see in Goosebumps, but like, you know, really easy to beat monsters. Kind of like Are You Afraid of the Dark? Although that show was kind of creepy for a kid's show. That show had some episodes, like with the comic book store and the creepy clown that would keep popping up. But again, I'm not like a huge like horror person. iPhone or Android? You know, I've never had an iPhone, but I've had an iPod Touch, so I've used the iOS, and I currently have an Android phone. I kind of like both of them. Like, they have benefits. I think the camera's better on the iPhone. In fact, I know it is because I've seen iPhone cameras. But I guess I'll go with the Android just because I have one. There's a lot that I like about it. It's pretty easy to switch between apps and stuff. I remember iPhone, or iPod anyway, maybe the iOS is different on an iPhone, but like the iOS would crash a lot when I had it. Like if I had too many apps open, or like Facebook would crash randomly, or, which I mean still happens on Android occasionally, but it doesn't seem to happen as much. Job done. So if we're going to pick a side there, and this is not really a topic I'm well versed on, but if we have to pick between those two, I guess I'll go Android just because I have one. But that, again, is not really something that I'm like huge on, like, oh, you gotta get an Android, or you gotta get an iPhone. I don't even know what version they're up to now. I know it's like iPhone 12, and, you know, Galaxy, Android 20 million, I don't know. That's me in technology. I grew out of technology a long time ago. Like, not that I grew out of it, but like, I don't know, I sound like an old person now. Like, it's like the things come out and they're just like a marginally better than they used to be. Particularly with video games. You guys remember when video game consoles would come out and it would be like such a huge step up? You felt like you were like in the future. You know, you went from like Sega Genesis to like PS1. It was like, whoa, it went from like 2D to 3D. And then like, you know, N64, Dreamcast, GameCube. It was like every console got like, you know, exponentially better. It had different features. You know, the Rumble Pack was a big deal at one time. Memory cards, you know, all these things that like all the consoles added as they went through the generations. And then you got to like Xbox 360, and in my opinion, that's when it kind of got more standardized, where consoles almost became like basically gaming computers that could plug into your TV. Like they kind of ran on like an operating system. They ran, you know, pretty comparable games to PCs. They, you know, the controllers were still kind of cool, but, you know, since, like, the PS3, PS4, like, I don't get that excited anymore. You know, it's like, okay, PS5's out, you know, it's better than PS4, but, like, is it really? Like, is it, like, it doesn't feel like going from Super Nintendo to N64, where you were like, whoa. Now, maybe that's a thing where I'm just not excited about new stuff anymore, but I also feel like, objectively, you know, technology is just moving at a slower pace. It's still moving, but it's just not, it's not the quantum leap it used to be, you know. Maybe, you know, 10 years from now, if they have full VR gaming like Ready Player One, where you just get in it and you're like walking around in the world, that would probably blow me away, because I know the PSVR kind of gave me that feeling of like newness. But, you know, as you get older, you know, stuff doesn't blow you away as much, I think. But, alright, I see I didn't really miss much on the chat. iPhones still do that. Well, I guess so. Not that I'm one to talk. Almost all my streams have issues as far as like crashing and stuff. Nobody can get PS5s. Yeah, that I also know. And people come up with a lot of reasons for that, and I'm not saying they're wrong reasons. You know, they say like, oh, the parts aren't available, or, you know, they have to get them from some specific place that isn't open or something. Like, I think they just rushed the PS5. I think Sony was going to release it in 2020 no matter what. I think because of the pandemic, they should have delayed it to like 2021 or like whenever, because they didn't have any games for it. And they didn't have enough units for the people who pre-ordered it. And they don't have any units now. It's like almost a year since it released. It released November of last year, and you can't find the thing. And I know that happened with the Wii to an extent, but like at least the Wii came out with enough units to go around, and they had a good selection of games to start with. The PS5 had no exclusive games for it until like recently. They came out with a few. And, you know, eventually I know it'll catch up, and, you know, I know there'll be enough of them, and there'll be enough games, but like, I'm still scratching my head, like, that it's going to probably take a year and a half for PS5 to really gain its footing. Like, why not just wait that year? PS4 was doing fine anyway. You didn't need to rush out PS5. That's just my opinion. I kind of felt the same way about Switch, but Switch, I think, got better earlier. Like, Switch came maybe half a year too early. But, I mean, they had enough units. You know, it sold well, so obviously it worked out for Nintendo. But I still think, you know, Switch came out a little too early. I think PS5 came out way too early. That's just my take on it. PS5, that's what I mean. It doesn't need to exist yet. Like, I think it should have been in development. Well, I mean, I can't comment on the hardware. The hardware seems to run fine, but I think it should have come out, like, now. I think they could have made more of them, you know, teased it last year, but then put it out this year, build the excitement, you know, come out this Christmas season with, you know, I don't know how many units, but even just millions of units. Even 1 million units, because there aren't that many units available. I don't know how many people in the world even own one. And that's why you see them on eBay going for like $1,000, because people can't get their hands on them. And it's not even something you can get in the store. It's not even like the Wii, where you could get it, but you had to be really fast. It's like you can go to a store anytime you want. They're not even getting shipments in. Like, I don't know when Walmart or Target or anyone's getting a shipment of PS5s in. I don't know. I think GameStop gets like 2 every month or something. Like, it's just so ridiculous. And even that would be forgivable if there were games for it, because then you'd say, well, at least there's stuff to do if you get it. But even if you get it, you got to wait like until 2022 at the earliest for all the new games to come out. I hear the only good thing about it is, the controller is great, I will say. I'm not saying, I think it's a really solid system, and I think a couple of years from now we're going to look at it and be like, this is a really fun system. But I think right now it's just too early. Because a lot of the games that came out for it initially, like Sackboy's Big Adventure, you know, they did Spider-Man, Miles Morales. Those games also came to PS4, and in my opinion, there's like no performance issue with PS4. Like, the graphics on PS5 might be like 10% better, and it probably runs smoother, but yeah, the controller is a unique feature. There are some exclusive games, like the new Ratchet & Clank, that I really want to play, but other than that, like, PS5 really, I want to say it missed the boat because I think it is going to be a fantastic console given a couple of years. I also think it's a little too expensive, which I think is also a result of how much it costs to make it, obviously. But I don't know. I was critical of it then, so it's not like I'm going and saying, "See, I told you." Like I said it then. I said, "Is Sony really ready to release a new console now?" Because they released it like, November 2020. The pandemic was still a thing. I mean, it's still a thing now. But like, we were just kind of coming out of the pandemic a little bit in November 2020. People weren't really looking to drop $500 on a new supercomputer, especially one that you couldn't get a hold of. And with people ordering things online all the time now, like even the online supply isn't that great. So there's just like no benefit at this point. I think they would have been better served waiting, but I've said that. We already know how I feel about it. They're not the first one to do that, though. I know, like, the Xbox 360, 4 consoles in, like, 5 years. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, there's not a rush, in my opinion, to just jump to the next thing. That's always been my thing. But, yeah, the controller is unique. You can tell. I don't know how I feel about the white. I don't know why. It's maybe just because I've always associated Sony with black and gray. Like, their consoles have always been black or gray. It's not even like it's like a little white, like it's like this stark bright white. Like I know the PS1 had like a white controller, but this is like just an ice white controller. Like it's kind of cool looking, don't get me wrong, but it's just like, from Sony it just looks weird. It looks like an Xbox thing. Which Xbox hasn't really done anything to blow me away either. I really like the Xbox 360. It was a solid console that after the initial 3 Red Rings of Death, I didn't have any issues with. And I had some good games on it, but looking back at it now, and like, do I regret not getting an Xbox One? Not really. The Xbox One looks decent, but again, like I said, I'm not as blown away anymore. Like the Switch I just got because it's portable and it has some good exclusive games on it, and that's what I miss about gaming the most. And I've always said this with Sega and Nintendo, you had like just droves of exclusive games. It was like, do you want to get a Sega Genesis and play Sonic? Do you want to get a Nintendo and play Mario? Do you want to get a Sony and play Crash Bandicoot? Now it's like all those games are available on everything except for a couple. So it's really just a matter of what generic first-person shooter do you want to play, or what racing game do you want to play. Like that's really it. And to me, that's kind of boring, and that's why no matter how weird of a console Nintendo makes, I'll likely end up buying it because I can't get Super Smash Brothers on any other console. I have to go to Nintendo. To me, that's still a valuable thing. Even though, Nintendo was my hated enemy in the 90s, like they have something that the other can. Not that Sony doesn't have things the other consoles don't, not that Microsoft doesn't have things, but it just, to me, it lacks the personality of the 90s where it's like every console was a new experience, a different experience, distinctively. Your connection keeps cutting out. Well, like I mentioned, this is not an exact science. I'm also in a room where I'm not like far from the internet, but I'm further than I am when I stream on Twitch, so that could be a reason for it, because I know even on Twitch I get some dropouts, but right now it says I'm streaming. Luckily I'm not doing anything like too, radical here. Like I'm not doing a high motion, speed run of anything. I'm literally just sitting in a chair talking. So hopefully, and I hope the video isn't lagging, but if it is, hopefully, you can still hear me, because that's the main point more than anything. Favorite breakfast food? I still got to go old school and say like pancakes or something. Like I'm not a huge breakfast person. I'm really not. Hey, what's up, B-Mark? I believe you were actually the aforementioned person who Rem was talking about, who kept calling during my Christmas stream, or maybe not. I don't know. That's a memory and a half right there. But no, my favorite. I don't think I said this. My favorite breakfast food is pancakes. I love pancakes and syrup. I love just kind of like really big pancakes too. Warm, fluffy pancakes. I love me some pancakes. I like waffles too, but in the morning we're making waffles. But yeah, no. What's up, B-Mark? Welcome to the stream. Like I said, it's kind of funny. I think I actually have a slightly better following on YouTube than Twitch. But my following on Twitch is getting better. So obviously I'm going to stick with Twitch when it comes to streaming for the most part. But I do notice when I do these live streams on YouTube, I pick up a few random people. I think my Christmas countdown stream, which I'm absolutely going to do last year, I think that got like 10 or 12 viewers at one point, which doesn't sound like a lot, but it's a lot for me. So, doing these on YouTube, obviously Twitch is my more preferred streaming service, but, in 2020, 2021, like, I was talking about, gaming. I was, drinking this Mountain Dew flavor that knowing Mountain Dew won't be available in a couple of years if it's even available this year. That's the other thing Mountain Dew does, is they get you addicted to these flavors, and they tell you, oh yeah, it's a new flavor, enjoy, and then like 3 months later they take it away, and then you're looking for it like an idiot, looking for whiteout in the middle of New York City. But I digress. Or do I? How you doing, B-Mark? I can tell you right now that Caitlin's not going to appear on the stream because I have not seen Caitlin in probably 3 years now, at least. The last time I saw her was like 2018. Because the last mall tour she went on was 2017. I think I saw her like once or twice after that, and then I happened to run into her at a party in 2018. I think that was about it. And I just kind of lost interest. I think I invited her to that birthday bash. She just kind of blew it off, and I just kind of gave up after that. But why am I talking about Caitlin again? I have no idea. But, oh, because B-Mark's here, and B-Mark was always hitting on her, and it was always kind of weird, but we're all a little weird. Glad to see some people, though. I like when people like Manuel check in. He's good people. I have a few other people. The Bobby Battalion, the Gaines Gang, whatever you call it. That was such a fun moment. I know I keep going back to that, but Doe, I'm sad. You're sad. How do you think I feel? No, that was such a fun moment. The Gaines Battalion, whatever it was called, the Bobby Battalion. I think that was 2019's Christmas countdown. It was like people were gathering in the chat. It was really cool just to see that and just to have people be a live part of that. Because there's one thing about putting the video up on YouTube hours after the fact, and I don't know who's watching it. I don't know if they're watching the whole thing. I don't know what they think of it. But like when I'm watching it, they're watching it live, and they can actually type to me as the video's going, so I can see their live thoughts. Like that's pretty cool. Like in any capacity, like that's cool. And that's why I like streaming. That's why I like it better than just making a video. Because making a video takes a lot of work, you know. And so I think in the future, you know, live streaming is going to be more my thing. You know, I still like my YouTube videos. You know, like you know, you can still consider the mall tour like a not scripted, but like a thing that I pre-record where you know. It's recorded in a certain way. I add the graphics and make it like a real production, if you will, since this is Bobby Productions. But like I think Bobby live streams is more like it because I think I like these better, where I can get like instant feedback as I'm going. I don't have to like put a video online and go, are people watching it? You know, like you know they hit the thumbs up button. Did they even watch it? Because if you ever look at YouTube analytics, and I would not recommend it, because if you ever look at YouTube analytics, you will get sad. You will get very sad very fast. Because I'll make a video that's like an hour long or 40 minutes long, and it'll be like, you know, 100 people watch this video, but they only watched it for like 20 seconds. So I'm like, okay, then why'd they watch it? Like, people will click on my videos, watch it for 20 seconds, and click off. Like, that's the average view. It gives you like the average numbers. And I like that it does that, but at the same time, it's like, great. Like, 100 people clicked on my video on accident and clicked off it like in less than a minute. For the most part. There are some that people watch the whole videos of. I guess with YouTube, less is more. People like videos that are like 2 or 3 minutes long, and they're just somebody freaking out, rage quits, you know, like those are popular, epic fails, that kind of stuff. I had my moment maybe 5 or 10 years ago where I was more into that stuff, like, you know, trying to come up with something that would get people to watch more of my videos. I'm kind of over it. Like, I really am. I know I don't get a lot of viewers. I freely admit it. I announce it all the time. I think I even made a video where I'm like, I bet none of you will watch this video, and I put it online, and I think maybe like 10% of the people who watched the video got to the part where I said that, so I think it like proved my point. Like, I know people aren't watching this, I'm not naive. You know, I advertise my channel, just like my Twitch channel, and you know, I love my retro request parties, which are like my big thing on Twitch, but like I know no one's watching them. Even if the number wasn't there, I would know nobody's watching them. Like even if it didn't tell me I have 4 viewers or 2 viewers or no viewers, like I could figure it out. But I still act like I do. Like, that's just my thing. It's even something I do while DJing. Like, if I have a party, and, like, the party's winding down, and it's obvious that people are going home, and they're not really paying attention to me, I still act like they are. I'm still like, all right, ladies and gentlemen, we are going to do the Congo now. Like, no one's paying attention to what I'm saying. But I'm not going to give up. I'm not just going to go, well, you guys, we're screwed. Like, no, I'm going to keep on trucking. You know me, I'm a fighter. Not like Christina Aguilera, but I'm a fighter. She's a real fighter. But I'm a bit of a fighter. I got a little fight in me. Don't ever change your style. I appreciate that. I really do. Because it's just what I am, you know? And I know, Manuel, you've watched my videos. I know this isn't like a first-time thing for you, but I missed your comments, you know, on my mall tour videos and stuff. I think that's the first time I encountered you on my YouTube channel. Bobby, why don't you go to Mohegan Sun? You're really close. Well, wait, what do you mean? How do you know I don't go to Mohegan Sun or Foxwoods? I mean, I do go to Mohegan Sun. I don't know if I go there a lot, but actually I was at Foxwoods the other day. Like, I go there. I mean, it's not like I don't do things in my free time. I do. I just don't film them because, again, there's not really a point. Like, I've done my share of, you know, And obviously, I've done more than my share of video filming, going to, cities and different places. And occasionally, yeah, I'll take out my camera and I'll film some, like when I went to the baseball game a couple months ago. But, like, if I do it at every single event, especially knowing it's going to get, like, 10 views in 2 years, like, it doesn't, it's not fun. It's fun to do once in a while, but I'm not a kid anymore. Not that I was a kid then. I was in my 20s, but, like, I'm not in my 20s anymore. I'm in my 30s. Maybe by the time I'm in my 40s, I'll have outgrown this, but who knows? What do we got here? You're going to do a retro request of horror games or RPGs. RPGs are tough for Retro Request Party. Because with Retro Request Party, it's not so much that the game is retro, it's the fact that, like, because I know there's, like, older RPGs, so it would fit in with the theme, like Chrono Trigger and stuff like that, but an RPG is something that takes, and I'm sure you know this, it takes, like, hours to get into an RPG. Like, you can play an RPG for, like, 2 hours and not even know what the story is yet. So, like, that's not really something I could do for a Retro Request Party, because those streams are, like, 2 to 3 hours for the entire stream. So I couldn't really do a good RPG stream unless I just focused on one game. It's not that I'm against doing an RPG stream, it's just that with Retro Request Party, it's a lot easier for me to jump in and out of games. In fact, the last Retro Request Party had me beating a game, which is extremely rare. I played Spider-Man Miles Morales, and I beat the last level, the last series of levels, and it was probably like about an hour and a half, which is usually more than I like to spend on one game, but it was kind of cool because we beat the game. And also the episode hadn't been running that long, so I let it go. But if I did a whole stream of just RPGs, we'd be there for like 10 hours. Like, it would just be kind of ridiculous. So again, nothing against that. As far as the horror games, I mean, I might just do horror games anyway in October just for Halloween, so I don't think I'm going to make a separate retro episode for it, but it's not a bad idea. There also aren't a lot of retro horror games. I mean, I know there are, but, like, they're not scary because they're, like, what was there, like Splatterhouse on Sega Genesis, the original Resident Evils. Like, they're not scary now because the graphics are so bad. Let's see. Do Palisade. Oh, I love the Mall Tour. Well, Mall Tour 2019, because there was no Palisades Mall Tour in 2018, fun fact. I've been to Palisades 5 times, counting this past time. 2016, 17, 19, I'm sorry, only 4 times. 16, 17, 19, and 21. Those are the 4 times I've been to Palisades, at least on video and actually at all. So, you would have seen me in 2019 then. The algorithms are really... Yeah, something did happen with YouTube, and obviously a lot of things have happened with YouTube since I started, because I started like 15 years ago, and I can remember when I started 15 years ago, 2006, I put up a video, and it was just a random video, I think it was like a 2-minute video, me and my friends goofing around at the casino. It was called Adventures at Mohegan Sun, and this video got like, 3,000 or 4,000 views in maybe like a month. Like, I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. Like, I wasn't expecting that, and I thought because that was my first video, I'm like, oh, that's going to be the norm. Like, all my videos are going to get a few hundred views. And then I put up my second video, which was another kind of similar thing, and that got like, 5,000 views. So I'm like, oh, this is great. Like, I'm going to put out videos, and they're going to get like, like a couple hundred, which I would even be okay with. But it's like these days now, I put out a video of any kind, and it gets like, I'm not even kidding, like 15 views, 20 views, maybe, tops. Unless it's a really relevant video, and even then. But, like, it doesn't matter if I do a sports video, if I do a car video. Like, there's no one topic I do that really... Like, it makes no sense. Like, I'll put out a video that's literally just kind of a waste, and it'll get, like, 1,200 views. Then I'll put out a video that's actually better produced, and it gets, like, 2 views. And I'm like... And again, I don't know what the algorithms mean. Like, I know what you mean by that, but I don't know why that happened or why my videos in the early days used to get a lot more views. They were more bloggy videos. It just seemed like they were easier to find, like you're saying. Whereas now it just seems like, I'm not saying my videos deserve 1 million views, but like it just seems like, I don't know, my videos are consistently buried somewhere on YouTube, and my subscribers are going up slowly but surely. I'm up to almost 700 subscribers, which is a big jump from where I was a couple years ago, so that's great. I never see these subscribers. I never see them comment, but I pick up a few subscribers a month. What was I going to say? Deficient themes. It was 2019, was it? Because I thought your first comment was 2017 when I did the Galleria of White Plains, or maybe I'm thinking of somebody else. There was somebody who's from White Plains, New York, and you were saying how you liked that mall tour video because it was a mall that you went to. which is also really cool when I do mall tours in New York or Massachusetts or Rhode Island. And I get people who say, hey, I grew up with that mall. Or like, I remember that mall back in this year when it opened. I remember this mall. I used to work at this mall. I've gotten that a lot. I think that's kind of cool that there are shared human experiences that, maybe I didn't have because I didn't work at that mall. But it's kind of cool that I can do that. I can bring back kind of memories for people that was kind of cool. I haven't seen that place in a number of years. It'd be the same for me if I ever moved from where I live now and somebody did a video of my mall. I'd be like, oh, that's cool. It's still there. So, that's kind of an unintended side effect of the mall tour. Another one is that there are copycats, if you can believe that. I have, just two that I know of. People who do their own mall tour videos, like their own blogs and kind of style. And, before you say, you didn't invent this style, you're right, I didn't. Maybe it happened once. The fact that somebody actually made a mall tour video in my style with my, random commentary, like that was really cool. And that's not, that's kind of why I started it, but I didn't think it would really take. Like, I think there's a market there. And apparently there is, because my mall tour videos are the only things that get any views. So apparently there are people who want to see that kind of content. I just made it for my own enjoyment, but it just turns out there are people that want. It's going to eventually be my last season when it's over, but like, I can still remember distinctly like each mall tour. And whether I meant it or not, each mall tour kind of had its own theme. Like 2016 kind of focused more on like the Connecticut, Massachusetts area. Like I know I started it in Pennsylvania, but after that it was kind of all mainly in this area. And then 2017 had a lot of New York malls on it. And then it even had Stamford, which is a place in Connecticut that's close to New York. So like, I don't know, 2017 was more like the city type of mall tour. Like there were a lot of city malls in that one. And then 2018 was kind of like a mix. Like I had like the Massachusetts Cambridge Mall, which was really nice. A couple malls, a couple Rhode Island malls. And then, actually I didn't go to any New York malls, so I guess that was kind of the non-city one. 2019, it's probably my weakest mall tour season if I'm being honest. But it kind of hit the basics. It hit Providence Place and Emerald Square, a couple new malls, and that was about it. And then of course 2020's just been all over the place. I can proudly say though, well, I don't know about proudly, but I can say I've been to every mall in Connecticut, all 13 of them, including ones that have closed since. Yeah, I've been around a lot longer. Now, time goes by quick. Like, there's stuff I think about where I'm like, oh, that was really cool. And like, I think it happened last year, so I look up the video, and it's like, no, it happened in 2018. Like, 2018 was 3 years ago. I feel like 2018 just happened. Like, I was talking about getting a new job. I can remember when I got my new job in 2018, which at the time was as a graphic designer, and I was like so excited for it. And it lasted about a year and a half or so. Like, it's not like it didn't last at all, but it's just weird. Like, I've been out of that job for almost 2 years now, and I'm starting a new job, and who knows 2 years from now where I'll end up. But it's just kind of funny, like how quickly time goes, and a lot of things have stayed the same. You guys know that. And that's another reason why I do these little video documentaries, because you can see the similarities, but you can see the differences. If you go back to like Bobby Productions 2014, say, and then come to today, there's a lot of differences, but there's also a lot of stuff that's the same, which is like me rambling. That's been a constant since the beginning, really. Yeah, no, I've definitely been around, probably way too long. I didn't think I'd still be doing this. There were a couple times, like I said, 15 years is a long time to be doing this. Especially when you consider that I am 32 years old, so it's almost half my life. So yeah, I've been doing this for 15 years. Technically, I've been doing this for like 20-something years because I started filming as a kid before there was YouTube, before YouTube was officially a thing. And I have some of those videos on my, what do you call it? My Bobby Classics channel, I call it. So those videos are still available. But yeah, I've been doing video or video rants for 15 to 20 years, basically, long story short. And, like I said, there were a couple times, I don't want to say I considered giving it up, but I considered cutting it way back. In 2012, 2011, 2012, that was a time where I was kind of getting frustrated because I'd been on YouTube for about 5 or 6 years, and it wasn't really going anywhere like more. Like then, 2010, oh god, 2010 was actually a really good year. 2010 is when I was like really gung-ho about YouTube. That's when I came out with like 2 big movies that year. I came out with Blockbusted, the first Blockbusted, and then I came out with Movie Hero Forever, which was like the long goal to the trilogy that nobody really cared about. But a year for me on YouTube. And then, like I said, 2011 or 12 was when I started to feel a little bit of fatigue, because it kind of felt like the same thing. At that point I had cut the mall tour for the time being in 2011. 2012 I didn't really have anything, and then I kind of took a break, and I actually mentioned that in 2012. I took like a 3 or 4 month break. I came back occasionally, and then at the end of 2012 I started doing more with Christmas, and then from 2013 on I've kind of picked it up again, last couple of years have been insane in terms of videos. Like I've done a ton of videos in the last couple of years. So I went from kind of being tired of it to doing it more often than ever. So it's kind of funny how you appreciate things in your life differently at different points. It was kind of something I didn't want anymore about 10 years ago, 2012. I didn't want it anymore. And then, as time went by, it was like I kind of, I didn't think any of this stuff would go on as long as it has. But again, I digress. Yeah, YOLO, new movie. I mean, all right, it came out of nowhere, but yeah, I don't know how much of that answer came through because it looks like I disconnected for a little bit. But basically, long story short, likely no new movie, but could be little things here and there. A lot of it depends on other people, and I've always said that. Like, if other people are enthusiastic enough where they want something like that, I would not be against it. I still like filming movies, but it's got to be a team effort. I'm not at the point anymore where I can be the CEO, so to speak. All my movies were like, a huge chunk was me. I don't want to discount the contributions of others because there were a lot of others, but a lot of it was me. And, because of that, like I said, it's a lot to take on. So I appreciate that you liked my movies. I like them too, obviously, but I don't see it. But, anything's possible, especially with me. I quit making movies a couple times, only to come back a couple years later. So you never know. I'm like the Brett Favre of movie making. Cough, cough, Zach Masters. I love Zach Masters. And there's been references to that, by the way. Like in 2012, I dressed up as Zach Masters for Halloween, My 2018 birthday party, most recently, I dressed up as the movie hero for a part of it. So, I mean, those characters are still part of, like, who I am. I still reference them from time to time. Yeah, I know he's a CEO. He's a CEO of a company I made up. And I think the Z-Tech logo is still up in my garage somewhere, funny enough. So, I mean, those movies will always be a part of me, the idea of them, the different characters and themes I involved, that's not going anywhere. I almost feel like I own the property, Zach Masters is my exclusive character, which I guess he is, but he's pretty much just me, so I don't know who would want to copy him, but I own the copyright. Yeah, I'm getting tired. You forget how much talking about stuff takes it out. So I don't stream on YouTube very often, like I mentioned, so, I don't mind going a little longer if I have to, but I also don't want to just ramble on for 4 hours if there's no one really paying attention. I do remember that one episode John just showed up. Cinema. I mean, I did enjoy Cinema. We don't even know where the actor who played Cinema is. Like, we could do one of those Where Are They Now? The actor who played Cinema. He's in Maine somewhere with a 10-foot-long beard. Like, we don't know where he is. But no, good people, all of them. I've considered a couple things. I've considered, like, blockbusted reunion, like, where we all just kind of, like, not talk about it, but we all just kind of get together or whatever. I wanted to do like a mall tour alumni thing after the mall tour's over, but I mean, for that, we would need Caitlin, who we know isn't coming back. And she was, of course, a big part of the mall tours. He's on a boat. See what I mean? Like, what are we gonna film Blockbusted 4 on a boat? And we're just gonna have like all his scenes be like through Skype with like him holding the phone out like this, like taking his parts. Cinema's on a boat somewhere. Hey, I can't talk, I'm on the boat. Like, yeah, okay, that's gonna be a great movie. My ex sucked, though. Well, don't worry. Her character's more or less written out, so we don't really need her. In fact, we're still not really sure what happened to her character or her, the person. But I digress. Like I said, these are all just hypotheticals. And, the other thing is, like, I don't have to write the movie. If somebody else wants to write a movie, I will be more than happy to play a role in it or film it or edit it. Like, I have a lot of things I can do. Like, I don't have to be everything. The net of the F. Yes, I know. I know what you're getting at, and I made it about 25% into that script before I realized how infeasible it was, and that was before the pandemic really got started, so, not saying no, not saying yes, just kind of hanging around here, in terms of that. On the bright side, I know you like cosplaying and stuff. You should do it more to a rap video, but, I mean, that's definitely possible. As far as, like, I don't know if I could get any of them. I'd like to do maybe, like, short interviews, like, I can only think of, like, 2 people that would even be willing to do that, where, like, it cuts to them and it shows, like, their thoughts, but, like, yeah, no, there's definitely going to be stuff like that. I'm getting kind of, like, not teary-eyed, but I'm getting kind of sappy just thinking about it, like, the best of the mall tour, the best people, the best moments, because there's going to be a ton of that. even when I go back now and I watch some of those videos, like from 2018, 2015, whatever, I'm like, damn, we went to a lot of malls. There's a lot of random moments even I forgot happened. Like West Farms Mall in particular. It seems like ages since I've been there. Although I just went there last year, but West Farms Mall had a lot of great moments. I still have costumes in Hall Tour Confessional, pretty much. I did a similar thing, or I was gonna do a similar thing. I'm trying to think of if it actually happened. Oh, yeah. When I did my Mount Misery hike back in 2020, the one where it like rained the whole time, I tried to do it. It didn't really come off as that funny. Where it was like, oh man, I love this. Like it would be the opposite of what I just said. I find that kind of stuff funny. Like I would love to hear like Angela's thoughts on like. I probably shouldn't even tell the story, but there's just a really funny story involving an elevator at Buckland Hills Mall that's kind of referenced in that mall tour, but I think she could shed a little more light on it than I could. Yeah, mall tour confessionals would be funny. I mean, anything. The mall tour, as I've always mentioned, is about the people. I mean, I suppose it's also about the malls, since it's, at malls, but yeah. I don't know if my connection's still working, so we're going to see how that goes, but if we have too many more connection issues, I'm probably going to cut it anyway, because we've gone over an hour and a half, and this has still been a really good episode. I haven't seen everybody I thought I would, but I've seen a good number of people. I think we topped out at about 5 viewers. It's not impossible that I might stream on Twitch tonight. That does not seem like it would be out of my realm of possibility. I am going to have a retro request party probably next week or the week after that involves the 2-year anniversary. I think I mentioned that earlier in the stream. So yeah. Without Randy here to ask random questions, this really goes south. I still think that 86 Adventures person was also Frankie, but I'm not 100% sure. I think it was. But then again, they said stuff that Frankie wouldn't say, plus Frankie himself actually appeared on the stream, which kind of leads me to wonder what really happened there. Your connection is fine. Well, for now. I don't know, I'm just going by what Streamlabs is saying, and like the bit rate keeps going from like 2,000 to like literally 0. And when it goes to 0, that's when like the frames drop out. Kind of like Sonic Colors Ultimate, where the frames seem to drop out in every level. I'm also just not sure where else to go with Watermelon Mountain Dew. The official Mountain Dew of Bobby Gaines and Chaos Blur Productions. Yeah, no, it was good to see Manuel again. I don't know where B-Mark went. I know Quaffle popped in here and there. We either missed like, what the hell is this? And I do kind of wonder what the hell this is, because even I don't know sometimes. I get about 10 minutes into it when I'm like, was this a good idea? But I only do them once in a while. Like I mentioned, the next one might be like a week before Thanksgiving or something, because that's always an interesting week of the year. I always like that feeling of like Thanksgiving coming and Christmas right behind it. Like there's excitement there. I like how the year gets progressively more exciting as it goes, and then of course, as I mentioned earlier, it starts again. It goes from this to like this when January comes. Like it just dips right off with nothing to do. But I digress, as I'm spending more time watching my stream's bitrate than my actual stream. But yeah, it's been a good. It's been a good road. It's been a good long road. Like even last year's birthday bash, I thought was really good considering the circumstances. That was the video game themed one. Didn't have a ton of guests, which was understandable. A lot of things besides the pandemic came up last minute, but it was still a really great one. Holiday light should happen. I mean, these are all ideas that I am in favor of. When they do it, I don't know if it's like the first week of November or whatever, but I still have my shirt from the last time we went, which was not last year because I didn't have it. My Holiday Lights 2019 shirt. We can go ride the super slow monorail again. Maybe we should do that last, because once you get on that, you're probably not getting off. You really want to go to Lake Compounce, don't you? I want to go to the Yankee Candle Christmas shop, but that's just me. Although I found you could actually get a lot of that stuff online, so I'm like, do I really want to drive like an hour and a half up to Massachusetts just to look at the same stuff I can get online for like a better price? The answer is sometimes yes, because I love the atmosphere of that store. I love that it snows in the actual store. But I'm just a sucker for Christmas in general, as you all know. So you can always talk to me about Christmas. I'll be like, oh, it's too early to talk about Halloween, but you can tell me stuff about Christmas in February. I'll be like, that's perfectly fine. I don't care. Go ahead. Oh, yeah. Alrighty. So, do we have any more questions here with this 7th episode in net gains. Started this back in April of 2020. Refreshing. I mean, I what? I mean, what? I don't know. Probably go to the gym after this or something. Undetermined at this point what I'll do. I'm down to go back to the Yankee Kendall shop. I do enjoy the Yankee Kendall shop. I didn't know the Yankees had gotten Jason Kendall. Heyo. But I digress. And now my frame rate is tanking again. Never ends with this crap. Oh, there we go. We're back online. I mean, this does happen on Twitch, but I feel like it happens more on YouTube. But again, I digress. I do enjoy the Yankee Kendall shop. Alright. I'll give this a few more minutes, see if people still have any more questions. I think we've touched on nearly everything. Every time I do one of these, I'm like, oh, I got so much to talk about, and then like 20 minutes, what do we do? It both does and doesn't take as long as I think it will. Like, I think the longest episode of this was like 2.5 hours, and that's just because people kept showing up at the last minute. Like, every time I was going to disconnect, people were like, oh, hold on, I got one more thing. And I'm like, alrighty, one more thing. I'm going to be annoyed if it breaks us up into separate videos, because it was at like an hour and a half, and then YouTube disconnected and reconnected, so now I'm playing. But again, I digress. Crispy chicken crispers. I gotta go with the honey chipotle chicken. The honey chipotle crispy chicken crispers. I think they're the most crisp because of that crispy sauce. That honey chipotle sauce. God, I thought Twitch was bad with frame drops. This is much, much worse. I don't know. I think it's just because I'm outside and I'm like a little bit further from the router. I'm just gonna assume that that's what it is. But I don't know. I digress. I'm always digressing. But I digress. And there's like so many videos I'm still like either working on or need to start working on, just different things involving the mall tour and upcoming events. So this is another reason I do some of these, just to kind of fill the time in between, let you guys know I'm still thinking of you, I'm still, planning content. Because I post a lot of stuff, random videos, so it's like, am I still making new content? And the answer is yes and no. You have a blockbuster movies on. I've actually tried that, and other than the first one, they don't fit on a DVD, because DVDs can only hold so much. It's not even a time thing. It's like the size of the video is so big. I'd have to break up Blockbuster 3 into like 3 different DVDs. It would be a cool idea. Like, I would do it. I'm using the Switch and just like putting them all in a row. I haven't done Blockbuster 3 that way, but I have watched Blockbuster 2 in its entirety. I mean, I could do Blockbuster 3 the same way. But in terms of a DVD, I mean, that would just be so ridiculous. I put a few of my things are on DVD, like my 2018 birthday DVD, and that's a long video too, so somehow I got that to fit. But, I mean, that is a very valid idea, and I, really have wanted to do that to preserve them. I gotta run. Hey, it was great seeing you too, Manuel. I'm probably going to disconnect fairly soon as well. But always a pleasure to see different people on the streams, and thanks for talking. Thanks for bringing up the mall tour and all those good memories. We got a few more to go, so who knows what's going to happen next. But yeah, you can tell that these YouTube streams, looks like my YouTube rants are pretty low quality productions. It's just kind of like, here I am. Hopefully it works. Always some random moments in here, like in the 2020 fireside chat where I just start drinking random Mountain Dew and just bring stuff out. I've had my guitar here, which I played for like 5 minutes in the beginning, and then I kind of got tired of that gimmick. But I digress. When is your class, Jackie? I feel like you've had class for a while. I mean, putting them on separate DVDs. Or Bobby's Burger Bash. All right, Quaffle's back. Quaffle's back with his usual Bobby's Burger Bash. I don't even know what that would be. Would it just be a random barbecue? Like, what would even be the occasion? Just like Bobby's Burger Bash. I don't know. It's just Bobby's Burger Bash. That's all there is to it. But again, I digress. So much digressing do I do. So yeah, I'll probably just give this a few more minutes. I know I've said that a few times, but you can tell if I had a talk show, it couldn't last more than like 15 minutes. I would just start being like, all right, so what do you got? Thank you for being so well informed. Maybe I'll wait till I'll wait till I am finished with this Mountain Dew Major Melon, because I'm almost finished with it. But yeah, this isn't a bad room. You should check it out sometime. Next time you're over. I mean, hopefully you come over before it's like cold out. I probably will put Christmas lights in here. I'm just thinking about it now, looking around the environment. Some of it's very susceptible to Christmas lighting. In fact, most of it is. Yo, Bobby, you should totally do a burger bash. You guys just want to say I did one. It sounds like a very, 4th of July thing. Like 4th of July or Labor Day or one of those. But then again, usually Quaffles has the burger bashes in that case, so I'm not going to do one if he's doing one. Like, we go over his dad's and do all that stuff, which is cool. Better than what I could do. I'm not really a barbecue person. Like, I don't really make the burgers. I could order burgers from somewhere. I could get Bobby Flay burgers. Those are really expensive, so I would not order a lot of those. But then we could say it's Bobby's Burgers Bash. Hey, Bobby's Burgers, it's been done. Where I went to Lake Compounce like 3 times in a month. That really happened. That's back when I used to buy a season pass to Lake Compounce. I bought a season pass to Lake Compounce 2 years in a row. Actually, I think 3 years in a row, and then after that, it wasn't worth it because I wasn't going enough. Because you buy the season pass, it's like $70 or something. But if you go like 3 times, it's a really good deal. I think I went like 4 times in 2016, so that's like $15 a visit. And then, what was I saying? And then like the next year, I went maybe 2 or 3 times. But then like 2018, I think I only went once. So I'm like, oh, if I'm only going to go once a year, I'm not going to buy the season pass. Like, even if I go twice, I'm probably not going to buy it. Because I don't know what circumstance prompted me to go to Lake Compounce 4 times in a summer. I think it was more Caitlin. Caitlin used to be into that kind of spontaneous stuff, and I was too. At that point, it would be like, Tuesday afternoon we'd do, hey, let's go to Lake Compounce, and we would just get in the car and just ride Thunder Rapids like 2 million times, and I would keep using my season pass. It was a lot of fun. Soda. I mean, heck, I would have driven 2 hours to get the free soda. Unlimited free soda, and then 2018 they discontinued that, which is probably another reason I stopped buying the season pass. But again, I digress. Alright. Well, we're probably going to wrap things up here because I'm tired of saying I digress, and I'm tired of seeing drop frames in the stream and all that stuff. But it's been a lot of fun. I appreciate everybody who tuned in today. Basically, a lot of people I expected to, but still was fun to see. Stay tuned for more streaming action on twitch.tv/chaosblur. That's where I do a lot of my great streaming, my video game streaming, which you can also see some of those videos on YouTube as well, including retro request parties. But yeah, this was a great episode of Net Gains, episode 7 as it were, my 7th episode since spring of 2020. But I digress. Okay, now I'm just being obnoxious with it. But no, this was a lot of fun, I gotta say. Something else I was gonna say before I signed off. I can't remember what it was. Well, like I mentioned, retro request coming back pretty soon. Halloween, blah blah, all that good stuff. Final 3 mall tours also on the table. Nice meeting you, 86 Adventures, who may or may not be somebody I know, but I'll never know. So yeah, I think that will be it. Soda is not good. I mean, depends on if you mean good for you or good tasting. Good for you, absolutely not. Delicious, yes. But anyway, that's really all I got for today. This is a good chat stream. Well, thank you. I've always tried to provide a comfortable environment for people. This room